with the Celtics, first possession of the game, a little bit of a decoy action here on the left side of the floor where they fake like they're going to set a little ball screen, but Drew slips out of it. They quick run to Tatum, and then Horford runs into the ball screen. One of the things you'll see a lot in the highest levels of basketball, little details like if you walk up into a ball screen, it makes Cat's job easy. If you run into the ball screen, you might catch him being a little flat footed. Watch as Horford runs into the ball screen. Cat is just too far back, and Tatum just comes off and easily knocks down the jump shot. A lot of attacking Cat in drop coverage, a lot of attacking Jericho Sims in drop coverage. I want you guys to really pay attention in this portion of the film study. Watch how you're going to see. Watch how you're going to see the counter. You're going to see the Knicks a lot of deep drop against Tatum, and then it's going to flow into suddenly now we're coming way up to the level of the screen, and now we're in rotation the whole time. So good first possession there to get Tatum a good look. Here's an example of the exact same concept in an off-ball screen. So we got Cat guarding here on the right wing. Horford's going to set a pin down for Jaylen Brown. But as Jaylen Brown comes off, this functions just like a drop coverage. So Jaylen Brown's going to come over the screen. Cat is kind of coming up to the elbow to help as Jaylen's curling. Watch Horford pop. Easy swing pass for the three. Now, that is the baked-in result of the coverage, but also Cat's just not doing a good job. Cat is capable of closing that gap sooner, just like he's capable of coming up higher on that Jason Tatum pull-up three. Celtics were really, really attacking Cat's laziness in the first part of this game. These are some examples of corner crashes to generate easy shots or extra possessions, excuse me. This dynamic right here out of the corner is one of the most common little push and pull fights that you'll see in a basketball game. These guys crashing out of the corner and these guys trying to either box them out or high point the basketball. Watch as Derek White just runs in, taps it out. The resulting chaos ends in a wide open three for Derek White in the left corner. Same exact thing here. Fast forward a little bit. Quick little dribble handoff three for Drew Holiday, but watch this dynamic right here. Jaylen Brown, OG Anunoby. Jaylen Brown just goes over the top, forces a loose ball that goes off of Cat, forms an extra possession for Boston. Another example of Cat's laziness. I talk a lot about this is like big men in transition, just having a habit of just wanting to sag back in the paint, and that's just not really working anymore in modern basketball. We have a transition situation, kind of a chaos situation. Look at Cat, just dropping back, never actually commits to anybody. He's still not guarding anybody, Jalen Brunson's reaching instead of just sprinting around to get in front. He should. But Cat's still just not guarding anybody. As a result, we have this quick 2-on-1 at the top of the key. Josh Hart closes out at Drew Holiday, another wide open three for Jaylen Brown. So they were just making it way too easy on Boston at the start of this game. One of the things I was talking about in the monologue, the unwillingness to switch any screening action involving Brunson. Once again, this is with Brunson on the ball. So watch as Mikal doesn't want to give up a switch because he doesn't want Tatum to be guarded by Brunson. So as Derek White comes off, we get our hedge, right? Boom, hedge. This is where Tatum is wide open on the slip. Once again, notice in the monologue too, I talked about screening angles. Don't screen laterally to try to get Derek White going side to side. Screen the backside so you have inside position. Watch how he screens and ends up on his backside and slips out of it. Easy basket. Again, that's a baked-in screening opening that Boston is going to capitalize on every single time. You can't afford to make those sorts of coverage mistakes against Boston. Here's that lefty pass from Tatum to Cornette. Let's get in there. So here's that little opening that opens up here. So we have Mikal Bridges on Cornette's right side and Jericho Sims on the left side. Look at how tight this window is. It's not really open. The ball's already out. Watch. When Tatum throws the ball, Mikal Bridges is kind of still in position. But look at this pass. Lefty, rifle on a dot, pump fake, easy finish. Beautiful pass from Jason Tatum. Couple more examples of Tatum hitting threes against deep drop coverage with Jericho Sims. Let's fast forward a little bit. Tatum comes off this ball screen. Look at how far back Jericho Sims is. Notice too, this is an example of stack pick and roll and how stack pick and roll will really divide the focus of your ball screen defender. So watch Hauser. Hauser is going to look to set a back screen on Jericho Sims as Tatum is coming off the screen. This pulls Jericho Sims' attention to Hauser instead of to Tatum. Then Jericho Sims tries to counter this screen by getting like almost underneath it. So he sprints back. That allows Tatum to settle into a wide open pull up three off the dribble, knocks it down. Same exact thing. Same exact action. Here comes the ball screen. The only difference is this time they don't run stacks, so they run more of a ram screen. So essentially, instead of having Hauser come up and back screen for Cornette, they just have Derek White screen Jericho Sims before Cornette goes into the action, generates a little bit of separation. But once again, in a deep drop, Tatum just settles right into the pull-up three off the dribble and knocks it down. So again, pay attention to that as we get into the examples later on in the video of them putting two on the ball. At this point in the game, Jason Tatum has already hit 3 pull-up threes against drop coverage in pick and roll. An example defensively of the thing that we're going to see from the Celtics, just like they did so much in the postseason last year, putting centers on the worst above the break shooter and putting Tatum on the actual center. Cornette's guarding Josh Hart. This puts them in a situation where Cornette can help. So we're going to see a quick attack with Jalen Brunson or Derek White. But watch Cornette. Cornette's not worried about Josh Hart. We have a hard double team here as Brunson's trying to get separation from White. There's Josh Hart. They'll throw a closeout and just be like, fine, take that shot. See how soft of a closeout that is from Cornette. That's a classic defensive game plan thing that we've seen from Boston for a couple years now. Hauser hits a 3 here, but one of the things I was talking about again, like the refusal to switch. This is an easy action to guard if you talk, okay? So Campaign's guarding Hauser, Deuce McBride's on Pritchard, Cat's guarding Cornette. Cornette, you literally don't have to worry about because he's not going to shoot a 3. Why is this not just a switch? Why isn't Deuce McBride just switching out to Hauser and Campaign staying on Pritchard? But instead, they try to chase. Cornette gets a good screen on him. Deuce McBride is late to see it, and Hauser gets an open look. Like that is a coverage you simply cannot run against Boston. It was not a good defensive game plan for Tom Thibodeau against the Celtics last night. So now we're going to get another high ball screen, but notice the difference in the coverage. Boom, aggressive up at the level. Here's the switch. So this is what you should do. But instead of just asking Cat to slide his feet, they just hard double team with Deuce McBride, and that ends up giving Pritchard a wide open 3 in the left corner. So just way too often putting 2 on the ball, and 2 on the ball against Boston, you just can't do it. So instead of a 2-on-1, this is more of a 3-on-2, but watch, we get a ball screen, and watch how they guard it. Swing, double swing into a ball screen with Jrue Holiday coming off of Horford. Watch OG Anunoby dig down into the lane. OG digs down, boom. Now we're guarding 3-on-2. We're guarding 3-on-2 against this particular team that is about as good as you can possibly be at capitalizing on those situations. Swing to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown drives on Anunoby. When he drives on Anunoby, because like look where Anunoby has to close out from. Anunoby's closing out from here. That's easy basketball for Jaylen Brown. Beats him off the dribble. This forces Deuce McBride to help. Jrue Holiday relocates to the 3-point line. Another wide open catch and shoot 3. Knocks it down. Here's another example of just a basic screen that doesn't get switched, that generates an advantage and ends in another wide open 3. We're going to get a high post entry to Jaylen Brown at the right elbow, a back screen of Al Horford on Deuce McBride. Because they're not switching it, this allows a good screen from Horford to get Jrue Holiday very deep post position. Boom. Now we have very deep post position. Jrue Holiday is going to score here if you leave him one-on-one. As a result, Cat has no choice but to double team. He does. Another wide open three for Horford. Interestingly enough, here, Horford misses, but watch how we have our rotation situation. Horford's wide open. This forces Campaign and OG Anunoby to panic close out. Both guys panic close out. Now what happens? Because Campaign left Sam Hauser, now Hauser has a wide open corner crash, gets the offensive rebound, saves it, shovels it to Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown knocks down the three. This was just a ridiculous shot from Jason Tatum, just a really high level piece of shot making off of a between the legs dribble into his step back. Run some action. Nobody's open. Ends in ISO. Good downhill pressure. Step back, knocks it down. Beautiful shot from Jason Tatum. Another 2 on the ball situation for Tatum in a ball screen. So we get Tatum up high. Cornet sets. But again, as Jericho Sims was getting torched by that pull-up 3 earlier, he's going to come way out to the level. Boom, now we have 2 on the ball again. Cornet slips. Jalen Brunson rotates down to Derek White. This leaves Pritchard open. Nice read from Cornet to Pritchard. Jalen Brunson, long closeout. Derek White sees too much congestion in the paint, relocates to the corner. Again, another smart spacing principle on display for the Celtics as they get a wide open 3 out of it. Here's another just completely ridiculous left-handed skip pass from Jason Tatum. Starts with a quick post up from Jaylen Brown. We swing it back out. Now we're going to flow into the ball screen with Tatum. Now, simple action. Handoff, screen. Still in a drop, but there's enough congestion here to kind of make the pull-up 3 tough. Look at what Tatum sees, though. Deuce McBride is kind of helping. He's like 3 steps off of Derek White. This is only going to end in a 3 if you can rifle a pass on a line into the shooting pocket for Derek White. Look at how accurate this pass is. Off of a dribble, left-handed, whips it across the court, right into the shooting pocket, catch and shoot 3 for Derek White. Just an insane piece of playmaking from Jason Tatum. Do you guys remember last night when I talked about limbo, a concept that JJ Redick has been talking about with the Lakers a lot? I talked about the idea that limbo also applies to help defense as well. Here's a great example of that. So Jason Tatum's going to look to ISO. I believe he ends up ISOing Josh Hart on a switch. So screen, switch. Here's our ISO. Again, limbo to me is when you're not accomplishing either of the tasks that you're set out to do. So a lot of cases here, Cat's responsibilities are basically like help on the drive and then close out to Horford at the 3-point line. The one thing you can't afford to do is to leave him open and fail to help. So Tatum makes a move. Cat doesn't actually get in there and help Jason Tatum, but at the same time, Al Horford's wide open. This is limbo. This is accomplishing nothing. Tatum goes right through him for a layup. Like if you're going to help, stop the ball. If you're not, stay glued to the shooter. But like getting caught in limbo, that's the worst thing you can do in help defense. Here's that example that I was talking, a second example like of what I was talking about earlier about using Brunson on the ball handler, just because you know that when Brunson's on the ball, the Knicks are going to want to hedge. So Tatum comes and screens. Same thing we saw earlier. Hedge from Mikal Bridges, baked in screen opening for Tatum. He actually misses this shot, but it's a wide open catch and shoot 3. One more I wanted to show you guys an example of beautiful spacing principles from the Celtics in the second half of this game. Another blitz of Tatum up at the level of the screen. So we swing. Here's our ball screen. Bridges on the ball. Cat comes way up to the level. We got 2 on the ball now. Boom. Okay. That makes Tatum's first read Horford on the pop. Anunoby rotates. What I want you to see here is instead of just standing Derek White here and standing Jaylen Brown there, in which case Josh Hart might be able to do something like, let's say, that OG Anunoby hard helps here and Tatum has to throw a skip pass. If Tatum throws a skip pass, Josh Hart probably can close out to the passing lane. I've talked about this concept on the show in the past. You close out to the passing lane to prey on indecisiveness. So Tatum throws a skip pass to Derek White. If you close out to the passing lane, maybe you get him to not want to take the three because he sees the closeout coming. But then when he looks over to Jaylen Brown, Josh Hart could be right in the passing lane to take that opportunity away, which might buy enough time for OG Anunoby to recover and Josh Hart to recover. But instead, Derek White flashes to the high post. This forces Josh Hart to fully commit to him. Watch how he flashes. Boom. Now Josh Hart has to commit, and now Jaylen Brown is completely wide open. Easy three. And because you don't have anybody in the dunker spot, the next rotation is Brunson, and he has to come all the way across the floor. So a little detail there, just like him flashing high post instead of staying on the weak side wing generates a better looking shot for Jaylen Brown. So we're going to be moving on to the Lakers Wolves game here in a second. But again, I just, when we talk about the Celtics, it's not just taking threes for the sake of taking threes. They generate high quality threes through quality offense. And running any sort of traditional coverage against them is suicide because their system is set up to capitalize on that by generating elite shooters, wide open threes. And so you have to be willing to switch to shut off screening actions, and you have to do a better job of containing the basketball. Beautiful work from Boston last night. All right, let's move on to the Laker game. This was a ridiculous